Okay, so Rich and Mark, I've got an EC70A in front of me right now. This is one that we have in the lab, but this is going to be the same combo port that you currently have coming off of the back of your system. As you can see, it says HDMI, but in reality, it is a combination port. So I'm first off going to show you the connection to DisplayPort. So I've got a standard DisplayPort connector here. As you can see, it's keyed a certain way, and this is going to match up with the shape on the back of that, on the back of the port. So, okay, sorry if the video is not the greatest, but if you look inside the port, you'll see like there is a little bit of a, see if I can get a pointer. There's almost like a little kind of a spring back there. And that's going to put a little bit of resistance when you go to insert it. But as long as you've got the cable lined up correctly with the port, you will be able to insert it. And you just heard it click right now, which is the locking fingers engaging. So I basically got this in, it's secure. And then I'll press the button to release the lock and then pull it out. And actually, let me get rid of this USB cable because it's in the way. But where things get a little trickier is with HDMI because it's not fully obvious the way it's going to connect. But first off, the orientation, it would be sort of the wider side down. If that's coming in focus, that's going to be the wider side down. And what you've got to do, you've got to make sure that this side, the one that I'm pointing out with my finger right now, that side is lined up with this side of the connector. Because as you can see, the way the tongue is set up in there, it's got to be centered on the slot in the cable. So what I will do now is I'm going to insert it, and what you can see is I'm going to line up this side. I'm going to line the left edges. So if I do that, then I plug it in. And you should not, I mean, you should feel like a normal amount of resistance. If you're feeling a lot of resistance, then that's a problem, because what could happen there is if you look inside the port, there's a little tiny pin that comes out. Let me see if I can, again, point to that. It is right up here. So what will happen is if you try to put the cable in, like for example, let's just say you're trying to line up the corners and you put it in on the right side, that cable, that little pin in there will prevent insertion. But if you like really force it in, what will happen is you'll end up bending that little pin and damaging the connector or the port. So make sure you line up the left edge and then push it in. And then just to demonstrate the functionality, I'm going to turn on the system. And here's the monitor that I've got it hooked up to. And as you can see, the display lights. So that is how you're going to get the HDMI cable connected. Keep in mind that this is not something I'm saying that you have to do for everything, but just in the meantime, to get things up and running, that's going to be the way to connect the cable.